So, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Q4 2024 system demo. I'm Jean-Michel Becard, the head of the Portfolio Management Office in the TDT Task Force here at EMA, and I will be the host for this morning for this system demo. So this session is being live streamed. It will be recorded and will be made available through the EMA corporate website. So please socialize the link for people who couldn't attend, because I know it's quite long and it may be not convenient for everyone to attend this demo. But the video is with chapters, so it's very easy to find the product you are interested in. And thank you for socializing that link. So we will use Slido as an interaction tool with the audience, online audience. So, of course, this interaction is voluntary and you may opt to remain anonymous. But if you choose to use Slido, you consent to the processing of your personal data as explained in our privacy statement for Slido. So that was some housekeeping. And now let's go to the heart of the subject for this morning. The system demo is really the part of the transparency of the agile way of working and our governance. So it will show you an integrated view on what has been built in the past 3 months during our PI. So our work is based on the quarter, on 3 months quarter. And it's an opportunity for you to give an instant feedback on the functionalities you will see. And of course, it's recorded and it will be published on the EMA corporate website. So the next system demo will be at the end of the quarter one in 2025. So it will be the 26th of March 2025, as we are working by quarters. So now we start to be used to it. And the agenda today, we will go through 2 value streams. The first one, managing the agency with a new fee regulation, will go live 1st of January 2025. And then we will move on the product lifecycle management value stream with PMS, product UI, the EPI, the regulatory procedure management on IRIS, and the electronic application form and the union product database. So we have quite heavy agenda for this morning. So let's go to the first of all, yes, how you will be able to give us feedback and ask questions. So we will use Slido, as I already told you, and you have 2 ways to use Slido. Either you do Q&A, you are using Q&A. Those questions will be public, and you can upvote for the question. So, and we will try, if the time allows us, to answer the top upvoted questions. And then you have a feedback poll if you want to give direct feedback to the team without being public. And that remains open until the 19th of December. Please identify yourself if you want a direct answer, but those question and answer won't be public. So for the Q&A, you will have rooms in Slido. So please make sure you choose the right room for the right product, the product you want to give feedback. And with that, I think we can move to the first product we will demo this morning. So as I said, we start with managing the agency, which is the value stream who are managing and developing the capabilities and to support the agency and the network through administrative and all the tools needed to support the business of the agency. So, and the first product will be shown by Miroslava and Patrick, and hand over to Patrick. Over to you, Patrick.
Good morning. Thanks, Jean-Michel. Good morning, everyone. My name is Patrick Lopez Fernandez. I'm working in the finance department and support there the implementation of the new fee regulation with various tasks. And I'm together here this morning with my colleague Miroslava Ladikova, who's doing then the demo of the system. So on the first slide, we see here the achievements of Q4 in this quarter. So what we did is the final developments of some of the technical developments for the procedure certificates and parallel distribution. Those developments have been finalized in this quarter, and the procedure of certificates, the system behind it, is also subject to the demo in a moment. What we also did in this quarter is that we performed the SAT and the UAT for almost all the procedures, use acceptance testing, so to be ready to implement the new fee regulation on the 1st of February for almost all the procedures. We've designed and transition plan between the current regulation and the future regulation, and also started to implement this transition plan together with the development team, since there are a lot of many small details to consider with this transition, when the fee is due, and so on. So this transition plan has been developed and together with the development team implemented. These technical developments have been accompanied by a huge change management process. So here we've updated the new fee regulation website. We've set up so-called new fee Q&As. We will come to that shortly after the demo. And also we've updated all the regulatory documents on the external EMA fee website, but also on the internet for internal colleagues, so that you can find all information for EMA colleagues on the internet and external stakeholders on the website to be to know everything around the new fee regulation and the processes which we updated. All these new all these new documents and processes we've explained in many webinars, demos, which we held EMA internally to different departments, but also externally, for example, to the SMA Info Day, pharmacovigilance platform meeting, or the industry webinar. So we had a lot of presentations to different forums where we explained all around the new fee regulation and its implementation as of 1st of January. And well, 3 processes in the future will be subject to prepayment. That's parallel distribution, scientific advice, and certificates. And in order to be ready, implement the prepayment process for certificates, a new system has been set up for certificates, which is the certificates processing system, CPS, which will now be demoed by Mirka. Over to you.
Thank you, Patrick. And hello, everyone. My name is Miroslava, or Mirka, and I'm a data scientist for the certificates processing system team. And I will guide you now step by step through the process on how to complete the online form for requesting certificates for the medicinal products. Can I get the next slide? I would like to just introduce quickly the registration process. Thank you so much. And so from the 6th of January 2025, a new system to request certificates of medicinal products will go live, the CPS. And the trade organizations, both human and veterinary, have been informed via email and asked to disseminate this information. And a notice has been published also on the Certification of Medicinal Products webpage. In short, in order to log in into the system, MAHs or requesting companies will have to have an active EMA account. All the necessary instructions can be found in the aforementioned notice. And moreover, in order to showcase step-by-step instructions as how to use the system, a video tutorial will be published ahead of the 6th of January. So please note that the system will not be accessible beforehand. So for now, only I suggest to focus on setting up the login details. And I will now continue with the demo of the CPS. So I will take over the screen.
Yes, go ahead, Mirka. You
Perfect.
may
Thank
share.
you so much. So I will skip the login process, but please make sure that you create the account to register in the account management portal and to request the CPS industry user role. Note that the CPS industry user admins need to have the industry user role assigned to themselves as well to be able to access the web application. After you have successfully passed the sign-in step, you will be prompted to fill in the customer number, as you can see on this screen right now, and use the customer number that belongs to the organization on behalf of which you are requesting the certificate. So for this demo, I will just type in a dummy customer number. And once login is successful, I will now continue with the form. So we just begin with entering the company information section. All that have an asterisk are mandatory fields. And so, for example, we can type in example pharma, company address, postcode, country, we select from the drop-down menu. So for example, Netherlands. Now let's fill out the contact details information. Choose appropriate title. For example, we select Jane Doe and telephone number of the contact person. Please make sure that you also include the country code and also the email of the contact person. And if you would like to have the requesting company visible on the certificate itself, please check the box requesting company over here. And for this demo, I will not select it, so I will now continue. This section outlines the requirements for certificate requests, but before proceeding, ensure the following conditions. So for our example, we'll select the application has been submitted via a centralized procedure. Then we select yes for the GMP compliance status, and we also confirm that the products are free from serious hazards. On the next step, we have the product information. We'll first enter the product name, for example, Polivy, then the product form. These two fields are not mandatory, so it's up to you if you want to fill it in. Then we continue with the details about the site. So we'll provide the name of the site and the address. Please make sure that you also include the country as well. And make sure that you also select one of the activities of the site. So for our example, we'll select manufacture of the finished product and quality control of the finished product. If you need to add more sites for this product, you can easily click add a new site and repeat the process. You can always delete the last button. So in this case, I will only use one site and one product. So I will remove the last site. Now let's move on to the certificate information. We select the importing country, for example, Venezuela. Then we enter the marketing authorization number. For this demo, I'll type just a dummy example. And we select the applicable languages, English and Spanish. Specify which annexes are needed in addition to the SPC in this field. So for example, I'll add a Q. And I choose yes for the product available on the EU market. Once again, you can always add a new certificate or remove it, and the same for a new product. So you'll have the second product and the site of the second product and a certificate. And then if you choose not to, you can easily remove them. Now we continue. Now there is a validation process of the product that you have put. So there is a bit of patience needed. Now we move to the additional documents section. Here you can upload any supporting documents in the formats of the PDF and docx. Click on the button choose files and select the documents that you like to put. I have only dummy documents. For the multiple upload, make sure that you upload the document in one go. So I suggest to have the documents in the one folder. So you can either click Control and select them all, or you can just drag and select all of them. We open. Please note that if you upload new documents, then no old ones will be overwritten. Now, if you in your message add an additional comment, for example, I'll type, this is the submission for demo, and we can continue. At the top of the screen in the fees and acknowledgement section, you'll see the customer number that you use to sign in. So this one. Next, choose the priority for request. So we have urgent or standard. For our example, we will choose standard. And in the number of certificates field, you will see how many certificates you're requesting in total. And the request fee is related number of certificates in the urgency of your request. Of course, if the MAH has a valid SME status, the displayed field will not be applicable. Here, add a purchase order number or reference that will be included on the invoice. This field has a limit of 35 characters. I will skip it for now, and I click on acknowledgements. Once all fields are filled out correctly, make sure that you double check your information to ensure accuracy, and when you're ready, you can click on the submit button. Once you have successfully completed the form, you will get this prompt, and you can now wait for the application submission email that will arrive shortly. After, you will get a notification informing you that the invoice has been created, and an invoice will be sent to the customer for of the organization on behalf of which you have logged into the CPS web application. So using this customer number that you can see here. Once the invoice is paid, you will receive another confirmation email. After that day, your request starts to be processed. And thank you for watching, and now back to you, Patrick.
Thank you, Mirka. Yeah. Coming back to some valuable information for you as external stakeholder where to find information. I already mentioned that the regulatory guidance documents have been updated. So important to mention here is that where we had so far the pharmacovigilance regulation and non-pharmacovigilance regulation, plus explanatory note and implementing rules, we will have in the future the new fee regulation as such. And working arrangements, which clarify further some of the content of the regulation. And then we have the so-called fee Q&A, where we explain per procedure, or we give a lot of more information per procedure. So for example, when a fee needs to be paid, if it can be canceled, and also information about the transition. So those three documents, if you have a look at the new fee regulation, working arrangements, and fee Q&As, which are all on the EMA fee website, you get a really good overview about the new fee regulation and the processes behind. If we then move on, bit more information about the transition. I already mentioned the transition between the current regulation and the new fee regulation. And as I just said, in the fee Q&As, there's one particular question about the transition. So for example, what happens if you submit a request for a particular procedure in December? What that happens with it? That's all answered in the fee Q&A. However, we would like to highlight for three particular procedures the following. For variations requests, we kindly advise to not submit variation requests between the 7th of December and then the start of the new year. And for parallel distribution and certificates, there is a system downtime between the 31st of December and then 5 days after the 5th of January. This is for reasons of the transition and just to close the year and enable the transition between the systems. If we then move to the next slide, we see that in Q1 of next year, we have a Q&A drop-in session planned. We will reach out to all industry platforms and all contact points we have to inform you about this Q&A drop-in session. For questions, we are here now. I think the next minute, also via Slido, you can ask questions. And if you have any question after this demo, we are always reachable under the inbox nfr@ema.europa.eu. Thank you.
Jean-Michel, you are muted, just in case.
So thank you very much, Patrick and Mirka. I was muted, sorry. So we are waiting for the questions. So we will put Slido on. Yeah. And we have 5 minutes, so we can wait. Yeah, okay. So we have questions. So the first question is about the interface with the SPOR service or SPOR database. Will the product information be taken from PMS and the manufacturer detail from OMS? So I'm Patrick or Mirka, do you want to answer that question? I think it's a very...
I can answer, yes. So this is currently a minimum viable product, so MVP, but this is a feature that we might be looking into the future. So this is a similar question as the other one, as right now we don't have any specific integrations to the manufacturer or putting the image information.
Okay, so that's an MVP. So more to come, more development to come in the coming year. So the next question is the same. So then we can go to the question, is there a template option to avoid repeating the same, where is it?
So also for the template, it's related as well. So currently there is no save option.
Okay, thank you. And we have
Questions coming in, so
yeah, we have also the question about the CPS also applicable for veterinary sector. Is it something planned?
Mika, you wanna? Well, it's for all the certificates.
So for human and veterinary.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, correct.
So then we have a question about the timing to get the invoice for the certificate after the submission in the portal.
I can quickly answer. Maybe Alina, correct me if I'm wrong, but pretty much it should be instant. It should happen in a couple of minutes.
Thank you. So it's a real-time system. Is there a change in the certificates process on the payment end? So for example, is the invoicing aspect compared to the current arrangement, invoice on both portal and email notification, or is it still the same?
So maybe I can answer that question. So there is no change in the process in that sense that you will still get the invoice to the dedicated email address which we hold in the agency. And once the invoice is paid, and you will still have the 30 days to pay your invoice, then the certificate will be processed. So the only change is that you need to pay first, and then you will get your service. Thank you.
Thank you, Elena. So then we have a question about fees associated with parallel joint scientific consultation from HTA bodies. Is there something there? I think that's for Alina, maybe.
Otherwise, we come back on that one, I would suggest.
Okay, yeah, we will. We can answer in written if it's. And there is a question about the tracking of the status of a request. Is there an option to track or to know the status of a request?
So this option is not done through the web interface. You can track your requests via the email communication. You'll be receiving email when the request has been created, when the invoice has been created, when the invoice has been paid. So you'll get notifications in this way.
Thank you. Thank you. It's clear that the current process, as explained, is a huge increase in admin burden for industry, not able to save the data for future requests and add all manufacturers. But here, that question is about we are at MVP level, so we may see more development in the coming months. On that, yeah. So thank you very much, Mirka and Patrick. I think we managed to answer all the questions. Thank you very much. for that demo. And now we will move to the next value stream. So we are in the value stream now of a product lifecycle management. And this is all the system around the authorization and the lifecycle of medicinal products and some medical devices. And the first product, I will recap how to give feedback on Slido for people who just join us. So you have two ways to give your feedback via Slido. You can use the Q&A for your question and answer being public, and you can upvote the question, and we will try to answer the top upvoted questions if time allows. And we will make sure we publish the Q&A on the event page, the same page as you will find the link to that broadcast. If you want your feedback to be directed directly to the team and not being public, you can use the feedback poll. That poll will be open until the 19th of December, so you can always give feedback later on if you cannot today. But make sure if you want an answer to identify yourself in that case. And now we are moving to PMS. And here we have Marcos, who will demo what has been achieved in that last quarter of the year. So over to you, Marco.
Thank you very much, Michel. So can I have the next slide? This one. So in this slide, we wanted to explain you what we have done during this quarter. So first of all, what we have already done, in fact, was finished this week. We have put in production the PMS API for human NCA. So with this achievement, now everybody has access to the PMS API, industry and both NCA, so those ones that are human and vet and also only human NCA. So now everybody who requests access to the PMS API can have access, review their products. So this is one of the main goals that we have achieved. Also, we have started with implementation of the new transfer process for nationally authorized products for non-caps. This is something that we will explain in the updated chapter 3.2 of XCVMPD. It's just a slightly change on the transfer process to make sure that we have a safe transfer process in PMS. One of the main objectives that we had for this quarter was the change on the business logic for the grouping of products from Luxembourg. We were told that the grouping logic that we were using was not correct. So now this quarter we have implemented a new business rule. And this is in fact what I will demo to show you which are the changes that we have performed. Then we have also started with the analysis of the public PMS API, and one of the achievements that we would like to achieve next year, which is the upgrade of Fire to version R5. Also, we have from the PMS side, we have implemented the end-to-end process to consume data from the product UI. In the next demo, Veronica will show you how the process looks in the product UI, but then there was also work on the PMS front, so we have also achieved this. We have also provided support for the implementation of the bulk update process in the product UI. And we have already created the initial documentation from the for the right PMS API that will be shared before the end of the year. Then also during Q4, we have performing some bug fixes. And also not on the technical side, but also on the business side, we have updated chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 5, chapter 9, and also the PMS Q&A document that you can find in the PLM portal. The idea is to send this documentation for publication this week, so it will be ready and published during next week, so before the end of the year. During this demo, what I will be demoing is this change on the business logic group that we have for the products of Luxembourg. But first of all, I need the next slide. because I would need to, so this is a bit of information of, okay, this is the training session that we have on the PMS API that is happening on the 15th of January. This is in principle for the moment only for NCAs, because for industry, we have already had the different webinars and trainings. In the next slide, so it's a bit of information before I start demoing. You know that the grouping of products for Luxembourg during the initial migration from PMS, we were using the MA number as one of the grouping elements, as it is explained in Chapter 7. During this year, we were notified that for products in Luxembourg, I can have different packages of the same medicinal product with different MA numbers. So if I have a product that is authorized in Luxembourg and I have different MA numbers per pack size, this migration rule that we had implemented at the beginning is not working because I am creating different products in PMS. So what we have done is change the grouping logic, and instead of using the MA number, now we are using the procedure number. We are, let's say, using the same logic as the products in Belgium. So if you go to the product UI or in the PMS API and you see that for your products in Luxembourg were incorrectly migrated to PMS because we were using this logic, you can send a dummy update to XVMPD on those impacted EV codes, and the deltas will fix these products. I will show you what a dummy dummy update is, but in fact, what we will be doing is include or add a dot in the comment section of XVMPD. This way, we are not changing the data in XVMPD, but we force the system to take this new logic and group the products accordingly. Can I have the next slide? Because in the next slide is just an example here. For example, I have 3 EV codes for the same medicinal product. It's just that I have 3 different pack sizes with 3 different ME numbers. So with the previous logic, I was creating 3 different PMS IDs. Now, if I send the dummy update for these 3 EV codes, then the system will check the procedure number. As the procedure number is the same, the system will be grouping these EV codes under the same PMS ID, and then the other 2 will be nullified. So now I can maybe share my, can I have the presenter role, please, so I can share the, okay, I can, yes, thank you.
Yes, Marcos.
So I hope you can see my my screen.
Yes, we can.
Thank you. What I'm showing here is 2 different EV codes, as you can see here, for a product in Luxembourg, where you can see that the authorization number is different, but indeed this is the same product. It's just that I have 2 different pack sizes. I have migrated these 2 EV codes to different PMS IDs. So what I will be doing is, if I go to XVMPD, I look for these 2 EV codes, I load them. What I just need to do is send dummy updates, as I have explained. What is a dummy update? A dummy update is just going to the comment section here, and I can add a dot for this EV code and also for this other EV code. Sorry. Here I will just say this is a PMS update. I validate the message, okay, and I send it. So now what I will be doing is forcing the system to check these medicinal product, these 2 EV codes that have the same MRP DCP number. In the meantime, this is just an example in the product UI. You can see that I have these 2 different PMS IDs with different MA numbers, but the procedure number is the same. This is the way you can check, oh, okay, I have the same procedure number, different MA numbers. These products should be merged together. So I need to go to XVMPD and provide those updates. Now we just need to wait for the update to be taken. in XCBMPD, and from XCBMPD, we will first send these updates to PMS. This is the access to the PMS API. I have already searched for one of the products, and this is just the XML. So if I look, for example, for a PRD, so the EV code, I see that I only have this EV code in this product, and I would have also only one EV code for the other product. I also have the version of the PMS of this PMS ID that if it's formatting so we can see it better, but we can see here that is version 2. So we need this product to be updated to the next version. I'm not sure if I will have time because I want to give time for the questions, but this is the idea. When XCBMPD takes this message, the system will recognize that I have these two EV codes should belong to the same medicinal product, and then PMS will nullify one of these PMS IDs, so you will not be able to see one of those in the PMS in the product UI, sorry, because and then you will be seeing that in this one medicinal product you will have these two EV codes as two pack sizes. We have also implemented a rule if we have different names, because in Luxembourg, I can have two different names. The two names will be captured under the medicinal product, etc. So it's just a matter of time. Now it is updated, so maybe I can already try to refresh. As you know, the submission to XCBMPD from XCBMPD to PMS is very fast. It just takes a bit of time to arrive to the product UI because we need to run the integration routine. In the meantime, maybe we can go to the questions because I think it's interesting to be able to answer to all the colleagues that might have questions in regards to this or other topics. So, Emily, if you want, we can come back to the questions.
Thank you very much, Marcos. Yes, we have a lot of questions. I think PMS is always of high interest. So the first question is from ASGP, Trade Association, I guess. And it's most of our members are reporting issue with PMS data quality in over 50% of their products, such as additional substances added, wrong information migrated, duplication. Are you planning to fix the XVMPD migration and fix the data?
Yeah, so this is not an issue with the XCBMPD migration. And in fact, if you go to the Q&A of PMS that is in the PLM portal, you can see that we have identified all these issues and we have included when this is going to be fixed. In fact, we will be updating this document, and next week you will have the new version. So all these issues that you are describing here, that are additional substances or duplication, these are reported there. The additional substances and the duplication, for example, this is going to be fixed in January. It is already stated. The wrong information migrated is also related to the substances. So yes, there is a plan to fix all this data. Please go to this document because you can find all the information there. And also we are updating next week. This document is going to be published with additional information. So yes, there is a plan.
Thank you very much, Marcos. And the next question about if you can perform a dummy update for all your ActiveXVMPD registration via bulk update.
Yes, correct. You can use the bulk update of XCBMPD. You just need to select add at the end of the comment section, for example, and you include a dot. That would also work. My recommendation is do it only for those EV codes that are impacted, not for all your authorizations in Luxembourg, because maybe if you only have one pack size, there is no need to submit this update. But yes, you can use the bulk update.
Thank you. Then we have a question about when the right API specification is expected.
Yeah, so we are finalizing and reviewing the documentation that we have. In principle, this should be published together with the other releases or the documentation that we are updating. So by next week, so by the end of the year, it will be there. We will just publish this information. Then next year we need to get in touch with the SMEs to see how we continue, because for the right API we are releasing these specifications. We need to contact the software vendor and MA holders to see, okay, do they need more information? Do they need less? Then we need to prepare an UAT. So it's going to be a process that we will start discussing next year, once this information is released. I think you are muted, Jean-Michel. So if you are reading the first question.
Sorry. Yeah, we have a question. I think it's related to the first question about data issue in the migration between EXVMPD or PMS. I know here it's from ESMP, non-CAPS product were not migrated in PMS and over migrated with misvalue as dosage form, package, and there is a ticket. So I think the ticket is being analyzed as we speak, and it will take. You will be informed when it will be on its way to be resolved.
Correct.
Let's move to the next question. If there is a report to allow to check the short name in PMS, so looks like the previous one doesn't exist anymore, as this field needs to be checked to support the SMP go live.
The short name is not a PMS field as such. We just have different name parts. The short name is either the invented name of the product, so the invented name from XCVMPD, or the concatenation of the INN name, so the active substance name part from XCVMPD, plus the company name. This is something similar as the report that we have in XCVMPD that we release monthly with the authorized products that we have in XCVMPD for pharmacovigilance purposes. So ESMP is following the same approach. And our recommendation is not really to focus on this field, but focus, for example, on the package ID or the EV code, because also this information is the one that will be shared in the ESMP templates.
Okay, thank you, Marcos. So can you confirm if the manufacturers from NAPS should be uploaded in PMS for product listed on the critical product list before February 2025? I think it's a question more for ESMP, but
no, it's
Marcos.
a question for me. So no, because actually we are releasing the edit capability in the product UI by the 31st of January. So no way that you can do this for all your NAPs in 2 days. What you need to do before February is submitting the packages that are for products under the Union List of Critical Medicines. Then as of February, we will open the edit capability, so you can include your manufacturers. And you have until December 2025 to submit those manufacturers for the products that are under the Union List of Critical Medicines.
So thank you. And then any timeline for the Luxembourg EV codes update?
Well, you need to do it now, as soon as possible. You don't need to do it next week, but please do it before maybe during the month of January, because this might have an impact then on the ESMP templates if any of their products are under the Union List of Critical Medicines. The package ID will be kept. We have already explained this. When you move packages from one product to the other, this will be kept, and these are the IDs that ESMP templates will take. But then for manufacturers and everything, it is better if you already have the correct structure. So you will also have to submit the packs, the structure data on pack sizes. So you should have the correct structure in those products.
Thank you very much, Marco. So we are running out of time for PMS, and I think we still have many questions, but we will try to answer them as soon as possible and to publish on the event webpage in a Q&A document. So thank you very much, Marcos, and let's move to the product UI user interface with Veronica. Hello, good morning, Veronica.
Thank you. So if I can have the next slide.
So I
can
will,
just
first of
Yeah.
all, I will just remind our audience how they can interact with us, especially for people who just join us for this product, Product UI. So you have two ways to interact with us. It's through the Slido Q&A or the Slido feedback poll. If you want your question and answer being public, you use the Q&A. And don't forget to choose the right room for your product. You cannot vote the question, and we will try to answer all the questions if time allows us. But if not, we will publish a Q&A document on the event page. And if you want to give a direct feedback to the team, and not being public, that poll will remain open until the 19th of December. Please identify yourself if you want an answer, and you can give your specific suggestion and feedback about your priorities through that poll. So, and now, and be careful, mindful to use the right room for your product. So over to you, Veronica.
Thank you very much, Jean-Michel. So colleagues, good morning, everyone. If I can have the next slide, I will update you on which have been the achievements that we have been able to deliver in this quarter. Bear in mind that the quarter has not yet ended, so things still needs to be completed.
Veronica,
Yes.
you need to bring your microphone, I suppose, a bit closer to your.
Can you hear me better now?
Yes, I think it's
Oh,
better.
fantastic.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Veronica. Please go
So,
ahead.
thanks. I repeat, so I'm going to present you what we have been able to achieve for this quarter. Bear in mind that the quarter hasn't finished yet, so we still have 10 days to complete all the activities. So the first topic that I would like to update all of you is regarding the upcoming go live of the PUI edit enrichment process for a minimum viable set of PMS data elements. We are currently running internal and external tests, both with industry and authorities and also EMA colleagues to test that all the process for enriching data is working correctly. We have a total of 28 testers between industry and NCAs and 4 EMA testers to test the different role and privileges according to UAG Chapter 5. So this is going well for the moment. We are pleased to say that there are no blockers. So this is a very good news. Of course, in the meantime, we are also fixing bugs. By the time they are open, there is the Microsoft team investigating on that and also fixing based on priority. So it's a kind of parallel activity that is ongoing and is going very smoothly for the moment. In line with that, and related to the bugs and few refinements, we have been able to also fix few bugs that we have identified at the level of the ODD section, the orphan drug designation, and also the level of the product composition, so the part of the ingredients, units of measurements, unit presentation list. Few more refinements are the level of the reports. If you're familiar with the PUI dynamic report because you are registered, or if you're not registered and you access PUI as a general public user, you may see that there have been implemented few changes at the level of the way the information can be retrieved, can be searched, and also some columns have been refined. With regards to additional roles that we have been creating, in Q4, we have decided to implement a new role for the EMA, but this is very valuable not only for us as an authority, also for the external users, because the product UI data and PMS, they are also checked and accessed by our EMA colleagues, and we wanted to mitigate and minimize also any potential risk of editing with the go live. So we have implemented a read-only role for EMA users with no possibility to edit any data. The role for editing data will remain for the data steward at the agency, but that's already been implemented and tested. In relation to the performances, as you may have noticed, PLM is hosting PY, EAF, and also API platforms. So we had to improve in parallel also the performances of our PY pages, not only the view pages, but also the edit. The edit, of course, is planned to be released at the end of January. So for us, it's very important and it's a big milestone to make sure it's working as expected. On top of that, and again, because we are looking for delivering the edit PY MVP, end of January, we have created a draft version of the navigation guide for enrichment process. This is a draft. You won't see that in production because our testers, industry NCAs, they are looking for that. And in case of any improvement, we have still time to implement it and release it. It will be released next year anyway. Today, I will focus on the most weighted part, so the end-to-end process for the submission of a minimum viable products dataset in PMS in PY. And I will also show you how you can look and find and retrieve your change request, even though if they are not submitted yet in your workspace area. There is a lot to demo, so I had just to choose the most important one. But if I can have the next slide, I would like to take the opportunity to please invite you all to join a webinar that we are hosting. If I can have the next slide, the colleagues can also see the date and time. On the 28th of January, so just a couple of days before the launch of the Edit PY, we are hosting a PMS PY Edit training webinars. We're gonna show you how each different functionality works, how the document can be accessible, and so on. So please monitor the EMA website. As usual, we publish this under the event webpage at the EMA website, and is always hosted on WebEx. Now, having said that, we'll start with the demo of the end-to-end process. So I hope I have the, yes, I do have the privilege to share my screen, and I hope it's working. Let me know if you can see the screen. It should be the case.
Yes, Veronica, we can see. Please go ahead. Thank you.
So, first of all, assume you always have your access. You're registered in IAM as usual. I'm not going to repeat. I am now impersonating an EMA data steward because I have access to all products data in PUI, but this of course works with any roles. So if you go to the owned products, in this case, I want to make submit a change request to add the manufacturer or an MBO, so a manufacturer business operation. What I'm going to do is you can either search by here and you can get all the products data. But in this case, what I want to do is just to focus on a specific product that I have tested several times, so I'm sure it should be working. The first thing that you should do is you see your product, you make sure this is your products that you want to submit a change request for. You click here, you select it, and you will see your edit data button available and up and running. You click on this button, you can assign whatever change request you prefer. In this case, I'm going to say test number 3, add MBO, just for me to remember. And I'll do the same. You can even edit this section. Once you are done and you know you can remember this type of change request, you click on next, and the system will automatically direct the user to the change request to make sure that this is the right products. So you will see that there are a bunch of information here, and you have a change request type, the type of enrichment, your friendly name, the description. You can enter whatever you want. Even you can even list the types of changes that you want to implement. And the system will block you here. You will see that you can only enrich this product. You cannot correct because we are only updating an MVP enrichment process. So just enrichment. The system will also prepare your request. Indeed, you see here is loading. It means that the selected product will appear under this section. I hope it comes in a matter of seconds. So yes, so if you see this this icon, it means that it's loading. Now, the change request has been completed, meaning that the product has been associated to this change request ID. This is my product. If you want to read only the data, make sure that this is the right product and you know that the data are not yet available or not been submitted correctly. You can click here and the system will automatically open your product data in view only mode. No changes are allowed in this mode. So this is just to check. Let's assume that this is fine. It's my product. I can click on save if I have changed the change request because I made a mistake in the or a typo, or assuming that everything is fine, I use the correct product, I can click on continue to edit. If I click on continue to edit, the results will be that I will be moved not in a read-only mode like this one, but into an edit mode. And as you can see, this button will appear. So the section that you are allowed to update will be the manufacturer at the medicinal product level. You are required to submit any type of manufacturer data, regardless the level, because we haven't implemented yet the functionality to submit at different levels. So please submit everything through here. And in the next release, we will be able to prepare the relationship across the data model. This is one section. Then is also the pack size information that we also allow to enter and submit under this edit button, and then the data carrier identifier under this add data carrier identifier button. So first of all, I want to add another alpha pharmaceutical, another manufacturer data. So you see, this is my test. I did it yesterday. I submitted already something, but let's assume I forgot. I want to add a new one because I have a new manufacturer information, which is totally fine. You select your manufacturer from this area. Bear in mind, you can search by org ID, by loc ID, by name. You can do whatever you want. So in this case, I'm just clicking on another page. I need to submit 24 Licarna SRO, and it's fine. This is my manufacturer. Please bear in mind that everything that I'm submitting is always dummy data, is not corresponding to the product's data as approved. Please also bear in mind that this information will disappear because we are in UAT environment, so these are not meant to be made available in production. You will see all the information, just make sure that everything is correctly there, reported, and click on save. If you click on save, you will be adding, you will see that the system has added your information. Now, I want to just validate. There is this validate button and there is a business rules linked to that. Please bear in mind if you read chapter 2 that no manufacturer lock OMS information can be ever submitted without completing this. If you start entering something, you need to make sure that the mandatory conformances for this information is in place. So what I want to trigger is invalid, is unsuccessful validation. Validation field has failed. Why? Because I need to enter this information. So the system is kind of preventing me from a wrong empty submission. Then I click on add manufacturing operation. I start inserting all information for this one. Bear in mind, you have selected two, so you can even switch from one or the other. This is something that it can be useful for the user. I'm just selecting one random activity, active substance physical processing. Then in order to speed up, I select something very, very quickly. I know by heart this is confidential. So I will select confidential and I will select at least the mandatory one in the interest of time. Finnish Medicines Agency has authorized this activity. This information will also disappear again because these are part of the EAF information, so not PUI, not PMS data model. Click on save. And then we need to make sure that is processed. Now, if I click on validate, you'll see that now the validation is successful, and this is correct. Now, let me add also a manufacturer information. So I want to manufacturer pack size data. So I want to edit and add a pack size. Now I'm not really looking, this is capsules, it's fine. I'm clicking in add structured pack size data. I just need to add, you can search by whatever you want, capsules. Let's assume it's in a bag, I don't know, something like that. You can even search on just run around the search. You select and you enter in one bag. Okay, it doesn't make any sense, of course, for capsules, but it's fine. At least I can submit something. Then I click on save. Fair enough. And then if you have a data carrier identifier, you can also submit a data carrier identifier. Now, in the interest of time, I'm not doing that. I validate. What I'm going to do now, I check if everything is correct. Then I go back to change request details because I am still within the change request. My product has taken the update. Now I need to click on finalization. Finalization is the button that allows you to submit the change request. For the moment, we are under status modified because I just edited the product, but I haven't submitted it. Then I click on finalization. The system will tell me, are you really sure you want to submit? Yes, I want to submit it. Then I click on submit. And in a matter of few seconds or minutes, you will see that the status has changed to integrating. So what is going to happen now is that in the meantime, because I will show you also in API how this is reflected in PY. In the meantime, you can use your workspace area to select, first of all, the change request. I'm going to save it just for the sake of my search. And I know it's under integrating. So you will have your workspace area. And within the workspace area, you can have different status of your change request. So before the submission, my change request was appearing here under the modified status. But because I have submitted it, the change request is transitioning across these two levels. So it should be here, but the system is processing it. And by the time the change request has completed their process, I will see that reflected here. Now it takes a couple of minutes to see that aligned. So what I will do at the moment, I can even run the search, refresh the page, but what I will do is try to check in API if this has been propagated, because the data flows is that you submit via the PMS PUI system. By the time you submit this data, it gets pushed into PMS API, and PMS API takes the data, sees this data are reflected, and after that, these are taken by Iris and remade available into PUI. So if I look for, I don't remember now the name, sorry, just let me search. What did I do? So this is the, yes, it's Falexi. Okay. Business operation. You will see that the data is reflected in a matter of steps usually. So this is the previous one. If you see, this is the operation referring to this alpha pharmaceutical manufacturer, and it was the one submitted. Then if you see, it was also under the previously located high submitted and is correctly loaded. Then there is also the other manufacturing operation that should be appearing. This one is the Lecarna 24, and this is the active, activity business operation for the manufacturer, along with the finished medicines agency. So the information has been taken from PUI to PMS. Now, in the interest of time, maybe it's completed. You see, status completed. So what I'm going to do is, let me see my workspace. Where is my change request? Yes, it's here. Veronica, processed and changed. So now if I want to look for my products, if you remember, if you click here, you will see the products in the read-only mode, which is fine if you don't want to edit. In this case, I'll go faster. You see the data has been taken, has been processed. The version now is number 3. And this is the way you can process a change request, submitting the MVP of information. I will stop here and take any question you may have. If there is any, I'm sure there will be.
So thank you very much, Veronica. Let's see the questions on Slido. We'll go to the room.
Yeah, you're on the screen.
Do you want me to read it?
Wait. Okay. So the first question is about EXVMPD in February 2025. Are you still considering pack size submission or any changes expecting on the timeline?
So the submission of pack size in XCVMPD is still by February 2025 for those products that requires a submission. We know that many companies have submitted such information, so once you've done it, there is no more need to do it. For those companies who still haven't done it, we strongly recommend it to do it, because then you will need to retrieve your relevant PMS package PMS ID at package level, and this is linked to the ESMP requirement in order for you to submit the relevant information.
Thank you very much. The next question is about the user acceptance testing for product UI. Is there a way to enroll from the industry side?
So, well, yes, the industry is already on board on that. We have, as you know, within the Agile way of working, we have our PMS, SME, both industry and NCA. And the industry team is very active on that. So they are already enrolled. The UAT is ongoing now, so we haven't really published like a call, because we were in the interest of time. We had to make sure it was occurring within the fixed timelines, but industry, I can assure you, they are very much engaged with us. Thank you.
The next question is about enrichment of the manufacturers in product UI. But I realize that I have to change some information given for a specific manufacturer. Shall I still call it enrichment, or where will update be available? So basically, we are looking for an update functionality rather than enrichment.
Yeah. So you can still re-update your information. Maybe it's right, the name enrichment is just for the first submission of data that are not available. We can certainly work on that. As long as the scope is clear, you can still either start enriching or updating this information. Also because from a regulatory perspective, you're required to keep this data up to date. So comment taken, Anna. Thank you.
Thank you, Veronica. And the next question is about the enrichment process of manufacturer linked with EAF process. So, for example, in the case of a new manufacturer addition, which one to submit first, EAF or PLM-POI enrichment process?
So the process doesn't change. From a regulatory perspective, if you have to submit a variation and use, of course, the electronic application form, you still need to use it. There is no link between EAF and POI in retrieving this information at the moment. There is certainly an appetite, not only from you, but also from the agency, to create this relationship and the way to retrieve such informations, but it's not yet in place. So submit your electronic application form as a variation, and after this the procedure has been completed by regulatory timelines and procedure, you then keep your product's information as authorized, updated in PUI.
So thank you. The next question is about a product authorized in Northern Ireland. Is it required to enrich PMS with the MBO also for NAPs authorized by the MHRA and valid in XVMPD? My understanding was that only for QPPV and PSMF the EU legislation applies.
So this is a good question. I need to
I can
refer
take it,
back.
Veronica.
Yeah, thank you.
So this is a demo using a random product. So it just happened that we took one from Northern Ireland, so that is not an issue. We have also explained in the last webinar of the enrichment process that products in Northern Ireland are out of scope of ESMP. So you still need to submit them in XMPD for pharmacovigilance purposes. They are out of scope of ESMP, so you don't need to submit manufacturers or anything like this.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marcos. So I'm checking the time. We still have time for some questions. So whether industry need to submit manufacturer for excipient also? Can you please confirm? Because AMS term is not available for excipient manufacturer.
No, you need to submit every manufacturer business operation and related information for any RMS terms that is currently available. Now, let me spend 1 minute on this. The RMS team has just launched a consultation with the multidisciplinary team at the agency composed by representatives of scientific committees and inspectors to review the RMS manufactured activity list for that is existing in RMS, and most importantly, we have requested them to review and approve all the term definitions, because we know that some terms might not really straightforward to understand. And so we are expecting this activity to be completed and made in production on time for the go live. So for the moment, just the RMS terms as they are available, but bear in mind that new definition will come. Most importantly, because if you access RMS list, you will notice that many definitions are missing, and we want the user to be in a good position to use them as appropriate.
So thank you very much. The next question about the bulk update feature, if it's a plan available to edit and submit change requests.
Yes, and it's very much awaited also from our side. So the first release, end of January, will be on the single update. It means that you can select as many products as you want, but the change you have to apply is still one by one manually. So the bulk upload we will be starting prioritizing right after this release, and is expected to be completed and released hopefully in Q2. So yes.
And then about the read-only role to product UI for MAH.
Yes, colleagues. So we first of all, I'm pleased to announce that we have welcomed this suggestion it came from a comment in Slido in one of our previous webinar explaining how the PUI edit process will be. We discussed, and in a matter of days, we basically agreed that this will be scheduled. We have discussed also with our PMS SMEs colleagues, in particular industry group, and we have agreed to implement it. Now, there is a need to prioritize, first of all, based on capacity also and resource allowing, the go live of the single and the bulk upload. So for us, for the agency and other industry stakeholders, of course, this is the top priority. Right after, we do expect to implement the read-only role in PUI for industry. Please bear aware that this will be coming in Q2. We tried our best to do it for Q1, but the capacity doesn't allow it. And on top of that, please do expect 2 read-only roles, one for the level 2A, so the regular PUI industry user, and one for the level 2B, the qualified industry users. This is because if you read the chapter 5, there are different privileges in the matter they can access or not confidential data. So yes, very well welcome.
Thank you very much, Veronica. I think the next question is about EAF. And Christina will give a demo later on. But if Veronica, you know the date, but I'm sure the EAF.
No, I don't think I should be announcing. I don't want to steal the
Yes. So I think Christina will answer it at 11:25. The next one of the next product to be demo. then we have about what action are marketing authorization holder expected to perform from end of January when product UI edit functionality is live.
So you will notice that first of all, you need to have an access. You need to request the access in PUI, and you are expected to submit any non-centrally authorized data for manufacturer, pack size, and data carrier into PUI. Those non-caps are to be submitted until the end of the next year, so until December 2025. Most importantly, for those products impacted in and as mentioned into the union list of critical medicines. So this is very important for those companies impacted. I know most of you are waiting for the bulk upload because a single update might not be very beneficial for big companies, but please start familiarize with the system, start using that at least for a bunch of your portfolio data because you need to complete this activity by the end of 2025.
Thank you very much, Veronica. And I think we are at the end of your time for the product UI. All the questions we couldn't answer. Thank you very much, Veronica and Marcos, for your answers. And all the questions we couldn't answer now live will be answered in written and will be published in a Q&A document and, on our website in this event page, the system demo Q4 2024. And now we're moving to the next product in PLM, which is the Electronic Product Information, EPI, with Evin and Elizabeth. I would like to remind you how to interact with us through Slido. You can choose either the Q&A for public question and answer, and we will try to answer, if time allows, as many as possible questions. And then anyway, it will be published in a document, in a Q&A document. And then you can choose the feedback poll if you want not to be public with your suggestion or feedback. And the poll will be open until the 19th of December. Don't forget to choose the right room for the right product. And with those small guidelines, I would like to give the floor to Evin for API. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Jean-Michel. Hello, good morning, everyone. My name is Evan Drusis. I am the EPI Network Product Owner from the Spanish NCA. And today I'll be demoing along with Elizabeth, the Product Owner from EMA. So let's start off by looking at our achievements for Q4 of 2024. As you might be aware, we have been piloting in real regulatory procedures since July of last year. And this pilot completed with the publication of the last EPI by the Danish authority in August. Next week, we will publish our report of the outcomes of this pilot. So stay tuned for the pilot report. Secondly, we have an important objective of this PI was to improve the versioning of EPIs. We have developed this functionality to enable the users to create an update of an EPI based on an existing EPI in any status. So previously, the existing EPI had to be in the published status, but now you can create an existing EPI based on any status. In addition to this, publishing and unpublishing actions in the portal now take into account the previously published versions. We will see this functionality in action in just a few minutes. Next we have here is our next achievement is that in this PI, we have started testing our fire import functionality with EPIs that were created externally. This is an important step in working towards a UAT on this functionality in 2025. And another important achievement is we have a new development of linking the EPI with the relevant products in PMS. So now applicants can choose the product to link each EPI document to, and the PMS ID and the G10 data carrier information will be included in the Fire EPI. We have also expanded our automated testing suite that will greatly increase the efficiency of our routine testing. And lastly, for our demo, we will be demoing EPI versioning and the linking of EPI documents to the products in the PMS. Can I have the next slide, please? So as I mentioned earlier, the EPI pilot report will be published next week. This report includes the outcomes for the key performance indicators set out at the start of the pilot. And it also has a set of recommendations for guidance, business processes, and the PLM portal. The product team will continue to work in agile principles, and the report will outline our next priorities for the EPI team. I would like to give a special thank you to the companies that participated in the pilot, and a thank you to the staff at EMA and the NCAAs of Spain, Denmark, Netherlands, and Sweden for all their time, effort, and feedback. It was very important. We had some nice collaboration for the pilot. So with that being said, let me have the next slide, please. And we can go ahead and get started with the demo. So I will be first demoing EPI versioning, and then I'll pass over to Libby to demo the PMS linking. But just a little bit of background about, let me go ahead and share my screen. Is my screen visible?
No, it is not yet, Evan.
Oops. Let's. Oh, okay, and how about now?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
All right, so to get the versioning started, I will actually go ahead and create a new API. Go ahead and create a new API. So I will create this API based on an existing API. So with this first go around, I will actually, let me search here. I have selected an API to update, and here in this model, we can now see that you can create a new API based on an API in any status. So we can see here published, draft, archived, and there's also the availability to create an API based on a API in submission status. But for this first go around, I will create an API based on a published API. So I'll go ahead and select that one. I will select the reference MAH. And I will write draft 1 here for the procedure number field. So I have created a new API based on a published API. And let's just imagine that the applicant now wants to create a new API based on the draft we just created. So let's go ahead and do that. So we can select your API type existing API, and we can select the draft 1 that we just created. So we'll go ahead and create this API. I will select a reference MAH. And here in the procedure number field, I will write draft 2. Save and next. And let's go back to the API list page, and we can see that I now have 2 drafts. Another important feature that we have developed this PI is the view versions page. So if you go to the action menu here and click on view versions, you can now see all of the versions associated with this API. So we have this original API that was in the published status. We created draft 1 based on the published API, and then this draft 2 is actually based on this draft 1 we have here. Okay, so let's just imagine that the applicant wants to submit draft 2 first. So let's go ahead and do that. They will be submitting this API to the regulator. So this is the link product page. Libby will be demoing this functionality in just a few moments when we're done here with versioning. So here in the finalization page, I have to enter my personal data. And I will submit it to the regulator. Okay, so this was the view from the applicant creating APIs based on draft APIs submitted published any kind of status, you can now create subsequent APIs. So here in, this is now, we're looking at the point of view of the regulator. So we go to the API list for the regulator. And in the submission tab, we will now see the draft 2 API that was submitted to the regulator. And let's just imagine this, this procedure has a positive outcome. So the regulator would now approve this API. So let's go ahead and approve. We are prompted if we want to approve. Go ahead and click on yes. And then we can go ahead and publish the API. And in this important model, we have prompted the user. It says here, are you sure you want to publish this API? The existing published API for this medicine, that would be API 6673, will be simultaneously moved to archived. Okay, so we are archiving the previously published version and now publishing this draft 2 API. So let's go ahead and do that. So we can see here now we're in the publish tab. We can see that draft 2 has been published. And here in the archive tab, we can see that the original API 6673 has now been archived. So this is a very important functionality for consumers of API data. We are ensuring that the most up-to-date API is always published. And then previously published versions can now be found in the archive status. Okay, so that is a little bit about versioning. I will now pass over to Libby to take a look at PMS linking.
Thank you, Evan. And I'll wait for Emily to give me the rights to share my screen.
Yes, Libby, you should be.
Thank you. Now, I hope you can see my
Yes, we can.
screen now. Super. So, as Evan mentioned, we have an exciting new functionality also, which is our PMS linking functionality. And this is going to allow us for the very first time to link API documents to products in PMS. So here I am, I'm signed in as a company and I'm on my homepage and I'm going to go to the list of my APIs that I have as a company and just go in here to my API. And I think people who have been in the portal and tested are familiar with this page, the Manage API page. And from here, I'm going to go to our new page, which is the link product page. So this new functionality of linking the API data to the products in PMS is really going to give us a lot of new and interesting possibilities to leverage the API data together with, the structured medicines data provided in PMS. So here we are on the link product page, and I'm a company, and for this particular API, you can see, of course, APIs have different numbers of documents. For this particular one, I have a summary of product characteristics that covers several strengths, and in this particular one, I have 3 different package leaflets, a package leaflet for each strength. So first, I'm going to select the summary of product characteristics, and then I can go to Add Remove Link, and from this page, I will be shown my products, only the products available to me or to my company that I'm acting on behalf of, and also only the products that are authorized in the same country as the API. So I can search through my products, I can use some of the search filters here, and I can find the products that I want to link to that particular SMPC. So in this case, I actually want to link 3 products to that SMPC. So I'm going to select the products and update the links. I'm directed back here to my link product page. And now you can see that for this summary of product characteristics, I have 3 products linked here. So the summary of product characteristics goes blue and has an arrow to show me that I have products linked. Now, on the other hand, for the package leaflet, I have just got package leaflets for each individual strength. So of course, in this case, I can go back again, I can search my products, but in this case, I only want to add 1 product for this particular package leaflet. So I add the product, update the links, and I have the package leaflet with 1 product attached here, and so on for the other package leaflets. Should the scope of a document change, I can easily go here select the document again, and maybe decide that I want to remove a link because the scope has changed. So I'm back here on the search products page for that particular SMPC, and I can view the linked products. And I've decided the scope has changed and this product is removed. And so now I can update the links, and we just have 2 links here to the SMPC. So what does this mean in reality? Well, it means that this product has this PMS ID, and this PMS ID will appear in the FHIR message for this EPI, for this summary of product characteristics. And in addition, there is other interesting information, namely the data carrier data for that product. Here, at the moment in the dummy data, we don't have the data carrier data entered, but we'll hopefully do a deeper dive into this in a future demo also. But this data, which will be, for example, GTIN, Global Trade Identification Numbers, will also be represented in the EPI FHIR message. So this is very valuable. It's a very significant feature. It links the EPI and the PMS data. And one of the use cases we're very interested in here is using the data carrier in PMS to link the EPI to the data matrix code that appears on the medicine package. And the use of this is that in future, patients will be able to scan the data matrix code on the medicines pack via the GTIN that's in the code. They will be able to link to the package leaflet for that medicine. So we will, as I mentioned, most likely do a deeper dive into this feature again in future. I'm sure you're going to be hearing more about it in future, but this concludes the demo for EPI today. And we look forward to updating you again at the next demo, and of course to answering any questions you may have. Thank you.
So thank you very much, Evin and Libby. So let's see if we have some questions on the slide though. Oh, yes. So, well, the first question I can answer, I think it's for PLM in general. I'm not sure if Anne-Marie is online, but here we are updating the roadmap of PLM, and we hope in Q1 2025 we have the next roadmap, because our roadmap are updated every quarters. So we will have a new roadmap for PLM soon for sure. Then for the question more related to EPI, so we have a question about the documents being uploaded using FHIR standard, or
Yes.
can be manually created in the portal.
It's actually in our EPI pilot. In fact, when we started the pilot, we didn't have we had a very, very, very basic FHIR upload at that point. It wasn't really ready to pilot. So when we run the pilot, all the participants were using the editor to create their EPI. We had some enthusiastic participants who already wanted to use upload FHIR, but the functionality wasn't ready. But we've been working on this a lot during that time in parallel to running the pilot. And we are hoping in 2025 to be able to do a UAT, and we'll be looking for participants for that UAT for FHIR import. But in the pilot, we did not test FHIR import at that time.
Thank you very much. Then there is a question about the PMS ID. If you are linking directly the PMS ID, is the data carrier info still necessary in PMS?
I don't think I necessarily fully understand the question, but we're certainly happy to elaborate if the questioner wants to maybe put in a bit more detail. So the data carrier information is entered in PMS. That is the source of the data carrier information. And in future, the companies could enrich that field in PMS, could enter the data there in PMS. And from the EPI side of the portal, the page that I opened there looking for products, I was looking at the PMS products. And then when I annotate, when I link the EPI to that product, then the data carrier information will be taken from PMS and we will put that into the EPI fire. I'm not entirely sure if I've answered the question, but happy to elaborate more if the questioner wants to put more detail in Slido.
Thank you very much, Libby. Then the question is about how will patients be able to scan the GTIN? Will be there a QR code required?
Actually, this is for, I think, the future developers of system resolvers and system to access the package leaflet, the electronic package leaflet, to really elaborate on. However, from our side, we recognize that in the EU, we have a huge advantage. We're really going to be able to stand on the shoulders of what we have existing, which is that for prescription medicines in the EU, we have a data matrix code. So it looks sort of similar to a QR code, but it's not a QR code. We have a data matrix code already on the box of all those medicines. And that data matrix code contains the GTIN. So by scanning that code, you can get the GTIN for that medicine. And then if you know the EPI, which has the GTIN annotated there, you can create a link between the two. So we are hoping that patients will be able to scan the code that's already there that you can see on your medicine box today. Jean-Michel, were you asking me another? Shall I take? We take another question.
Sorry. So sorry, I was on mute. So it's about the urgent priorities and action that the MAH must undertaken.
Yes, there's a lot going on, and companies need to be very aware, and I'm sure they obviously are, as are we, of, for example, the ongoing revision of the pharmaceutical legislation. There will be a provision for EPI in the legislation. And our advice is for companies to keep aware, of course, of what will be required in the future legislation. And we are preparing for that also from the agency side. And we will have, UATs and engagement activities with industry in order to make sure that everybody is aware of what the requirements would be to submit EPI and how the fire works and so on. In terms of the timelines, in our pilot report that we're publishing next week, we're going to lay out what we're working on next. I think that's the key thing we're going to do. We try not to really say specific timelines in terms of months and so on, because we're working agile, we're working from PI to PI, but we intend to have, our functionality available, well in advance of the implementation of the new legislation. I think that maybe gives an impression of the general timelines. But I think, like all of us regulators and companies, we need to be aware of and keep up to date with what our legislative requirements will be in the future.
Thank you very much, Libby. Then there is a question about the import functionality for Word documents, as it's an absolute must-have for many pharmaceutical companies.
I know the questioner is very keen on this functionality, and I'm sorry to disappoint, but as we have mentioned so far, it's not on the list of essential functionalities that we, as the network project, will develop. However, it is definitely possible to import Word, and there are definitely functionalities that can be developed, and we fully expect there to be several options available on the market for import Word and convert to Fire, as there are for other standards that are available globally. So I think that companies will be able to use providers for this functionality if they need to. It could definitely be something that we could think about in the future. As a project, we don't really want to put out any functionality that's in a way something that, we're not in a competition with anything that is on the market. We want to do what we need to do as is our mandate on the regulator side. So it's not in the plan or the list of essential functionalities for us to develop.
Thank you, Libby. And the next question is about the more structured data element from PMS, like product name, excipient, MAH, name and address, be incorporated into the fire message.
Very much depends on the use cases. and the requirements that come from our stakeholders. So, we see at the moment our critical use case, our very important use case, is to provide a way that the information can be put in front of patients. That's the most important thing about the whole project. And of course, in future, we can leverage all the possibilities depending on the use case. However, by linking the EPI to PMS, this can allow any external developer to leverage both those pieces of data if they need to for a particular use case or in their software or in their apps or so on. The link is there. You will know which EPI is for which product in PMS. So this is a major step forward.
Thank you. Then we have a question about an UAT environment to try those functionalities.
Yes, last year we had a very large UAT where many users from the member states and from companies had an opportunity to go into the UAT environment. Next year, I think our first priority is going to be to test Fire import. So as soon as we can, we're going to have a UAT on that functionality. And of course, we will have a plan for ongoing UATs as the project is being developed. So please keep an eye on the PLM portal, on the EPI news. If anything is happening with UATs, that will be the first place that you'll hear about it.
So the next question is a little bit related. It's about opportunities for MAH to create and maintain EPI in the next 1 to 2 years.
So next year, we are for certain in 2025 going to be developing our next list, putting into place the recommendations of the pilot report, which you will see next week, and developing what are for us the essential functionalities before go live. So in 2025, we're still going to be very much in development mode, and depending on the outcomes, we will move towards, this will be our pathway towards implementation. So I would say it won't necessarily be possible for an MAH to create an EPI and maintain it voluntary in 2025, but as soon after as possible for the project, MAHs will be able to do this.
Thank you. The next question is about the scanning technology for the matrix, like mobile apps.
Thank you for asking. So this is not in our work. This is in the ecosystem of EPI. So it's not in our work, myself, Evan, our project, but this is very much in the ecosystem, the stakeholders. There are many projects and businesses and also compendia who are working on this area. This is for them. We want to make the data as amenable to them as possible, and we want to hear their requirements. We ourselves will not be doing this development.
That's clear. Thank you. And then we have a question about I don't have identifiers included in the API, for example, for substances to be able to support cross-border use.
Indeed. So this is a little bit similar to the question earlier. So for now, we will have the PMS ID and the GTIN because we feel that that's the most important use case that we have right now. And then depending on the use cases and the stakeholders who come to us with requirements and the readiness of the PMS data, we will consider how to leverage the PMS data in future. For now, it's just PMS ID and the data carrier that we will have there.
So thank you very much, Libby and Erwin. I think we have been able to answer all the questions we had online. So thank you very much for this demo, and good luck for the future of EPI. It looks very promising. And we will have a break, a 10 minutes break, and we are back at 10:55. So welcome back, everyone. We are moving to the next product in the PLM value stream, which is the regulatory procedure management on IRIS. And before to give the floor to Madalina, I would like to remind for the new joiners, you have two ways to interact with us through Slido. So you can use the Q&A for your question and answer public. You can upvote the questions, and the most upvoted question will be answered verbally at the end of the demo if the time allows. But then, if we don't have time to answer to all the questions, we will publish a Q&A document on the event page of this system demo. Then, if you don't want your feedback to be public, you can use the feedback poll of Slido. It will remain open until the 19th of December. And if you want us to answer to you directly, please identify yourself. And we are welcoming specific suggestions and feedback about your priorities. So don't forget to choose and to switch to the right room for your feedback. So let's go to the RPM. Over to you, Madalina.
Thank you, Jean-Michel. I hope you can hear me well. Today we are going to...
Yes, we can, Madalina. Thank you.
Thank you. Today we are going to go through the achievements of Q4 of 2024 for regulatory procedure management. This is the IRIS implementation of post-authorization procedures for the life cycle, for the product life cycle. It does have few particularities, but I will go through that in the next slide. Just to give you a recap, we are close to the go live, which will happen in January 2025. We do have a lot of work, and we have completed user acceptance testing just at the end of Q3. Hence, we implemented the prioritized user acceptance testing findings in this quarter for the functionalities which will be available in 2025, but also for the new fee regulation user acceptance testing findings. This is an implementation we've done as well. Then we did need to adapt integrations with other systems. This is the submission platform. There's intense preparation for the go live, which is going to be in January 2025. Many configurations, access roles, and all that. As you are aware, we have actually also carried a lot of trainings, change management activities, and the business support plan. This includes industry, network, and EMI users. You've already in the industry and the network been involved in several trainings and walking clinics. We are carrying during this period as well, and some non-functional work, which is always there to support the development. In the next slide, just a recap. I'm taking advantage of this demo to remind you in industry that we rely on our actions before 2025. We do need you to have for every contact in the procedures an IRIS account, and I'm going to break it down a little bit. We are going live with the post-authorization procedures for all EMA-led procedures. So that includes the life cycle of centrally approved products and some procedures including nationally approved products and centrally approved products, such as referral passes, PSUSAs, which will also be managed in IRIS. And the IRIS setup is the following. a submission stays in the gateway and PSUR repository. However, the management and collaboration will be done in Iris. And for this reason, each case, each procedure will have a designated space on the portal following a procedure creation by Emma and the contact available. And this contact will become the contact of the procedure. So for this reason, they do need an Iris account. Of course, they need to be affiliated to an organization. This needs to be registered in the OMS. You need to ask an industry, Iris industry role, and have all the settings there done. There is a guidance available, and we are repeatedly conveying this to you in emails, trainings, and every possibility we have. You need to request access for your Iris account. Now, this Iris account is mandatory for every person who should be a contact for a procedure, including a nationally approved product or a centrally approved product. For centrally approved products, we, as Emma, have in our database contact for each product. So if you need to update that contact as well, you have two ways depending on the nature of your change. If you need to replace the email, for example, because generic mailboxes are not accepted, you would need to update your account management, so the IAM user, to individual email. And if, for example, you want to change the contact person all together, then you have guidance on the EMA website how to do so. And with this, I presented it before the recap demo, just to give you a bit of space to create the questions, so to ask the questions in the Q&A session. I will do a recap, so demo recap of the industry functionalities, and this is just to show you how to update your contacts and how to carry some actions on the portal for your procedures for which you are a contact. I think now I can share if you, Emily, give me the rights. So, screen.
You should be now presenter, Adelina.
Thank you, Emily.
Yes.
You can see me.
Yes, we can see your screen. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So a quick overview. These are general functionalities of the Iris portal. As an industry user, you will have your submissions panel here, and what I'm showing is the ongoing submissions. I am here contact for many procedures, and deliberately I created quite few referrals just to show you that for each product in a referral, the procedure number is the same. However, for each product we have created a submission will be created. Even if you are the contact for all of them, as I am now, you will have a designated space for each product as part of this procedure to receive documents and collaborate with the EMA. For each procedure, you have option to create carry few actions. As I mentioned, for let's say procedures which have also nationally approved products or can have, such as referrals and PSURs, the contact is indicated per procedure, right? So for PSUR, you indicated the submission for or the creation of delivery file on the for the PSUR repository. For referrals, it's a bit different from type of referral, from the domain, Sometimes it's the qualified person for pharmacovigilance, sometimes it's the contact provided at the national competent authority. So be mindful every contact you have, and you are aware at least that it's going to be part of a PSUR, or that's a bit unpredictable, or a referral. Please create IRIS accounts for them. Of course, the IRIS account needs to be on the product organization, so the marketing authorization holder of product will also need to have affiliated the contact person. You would be notified when a submission is created, so that you can carry actions such as changing the contact. So the default contact is of the submission is the person which is recorded for that procedure. Then you can go on the portal and manage the submission contact. It's a simple action. You will just go change submission, manage submission contact, change submission contact. Here on the search, you will search for your relevant colleague. They need to be present in this list. Then you select them and save and return. And this is how the contact will be changed. The contact person is always a person with a manager role. So you, in a list, you would only see the colleagues, users affiliated to the organization, which have an IRIS industry manager role. So that's something you need to be aware of. Then, for example, if you want to change to manage a contributor is a person who can can see the submission, so the case can change documents, but they cannot withdraw. For example, a case they don't have full rights. The contributor, of course, you can always add one. There would be a search as well. They do need to have an IRIS contributor role, so you need to be aware that if you don't find anyone here, it's probably because those users don't have a contributor. So, for example, in your company, everyone has an IRIS account with a manager role. The same, you search, select, add, and press done. I do not have anyone there to demo with, but the action is pretty simple. The same for the managers. Managers have full right. You view manage managers. It is recommended to have at least 2 users with managers or affiliated to a procedure with manager role as well, because then if someone is off sick or has an unpredicted absence, then the other person can, of course, compensate for that. If this is not the case, you can always go to your industry coordinator, I believe, to add other colleagues from their own end to a procedure. That's about it. What also it's important is that managers and contributors can see the cases on the portal, but only the contact person will receive the automated emails. So managers and contributors also can see the documents from EMA submitted, and they can submit documents. These documents are usually the documents which we typically exchange via UDRA-link. As mentioned, the submission, ECTD or VNIS, is going to be done still via PSUR repository or the gateway as applicable. So it's only about documents you typically exchange via UDRA-link, some draft product information, some maybe other draft documents needed quickly during the procedure. And how you do that, it's via the view edit submission. Here you have a space where you have documents from the applicant where you can upload files, and then Emma will receive a notification that this case received the files. Or the other space is document from EMA, where you will have some you will have documents from the EMA. Let me find something meaningful. I think this one has some documents from the EMA. Yes. So this is how you will see downloading is always per document for the time being. So you need to click each document to be able to download it. You will have you will also receive as a contact person a notification when a document is placed in this folder. Please note that this is the information you will receive when Emma places a document. So this is relevant, of course, when you have some deadline to meet, depending on these documents and the milestones of the procedure. And with this, I would end the demo. And looking forward to your questions.
Okay, thank you very much, Madalina. So let's go and see the question we have online for you. So the first question, it's about the CAPS contact data, which has to be updated via a form. What about the NAPS undergoing PSUR, PSA? How is the contact information submitted, updated for these cases?
For the NAPS, you will indicate always the submissions for PSUR, for example, which is the contact for your product in that procedure. That will be the default contact on the case. This person needs to have an account, an IRIS account as an industry manager role. And updating is going to be done exactly how I demoed via the portal. So after the procedure is created and you receive this notification that there is a submission created, so it's basically the view case Emma has created, then you can update the contact as I've demoed.
Thank you very much. And then we have a question about Harris being not a messaging tool. How can it replace a dry link? If we want to send a quick message, do we need to write in a document?
No, actually, because you will receive an email right at the receipt of the creation of the submission. What IRIS uses is reply to emails already received for the procedure. So at the case creation, you receive an email. You can reply to that email and use, because each email has a token, so you need to reply to an email originated from this case. Just you don't remove that token, it's a code from that subject, and you can reply with your questions or inquiries for the case.
Okay, that's clear. Thank you. Then I've seen that question last system demo. No, it was not a question. It has been implemented since. If in EXVMPD the email address provided is a generic address, this should be updated with a personal one.
Yes, that is correct. So since these emails will become contacts, in some situations you should have a personal email address.
Then the next question is about, is there a way to download all the documents of a specific case for archiving purposes, not only one by one?
We'll take into account these requirements. So we receive this question quite often, and we realize it's maybe cumbersome for download in case of many documents. It for the time being is not possible, but thank you for the suggestion.
Thank you. Then we have a question about the contact person under EAF section 2.4.5 and 2.5.1.11. does he need an EMA account? Will they be contacted by the EMA through Iris?
I don't know from the top of my head now what the roles are these ones. But in principle, so scientific services is 2.5. In principle, since we will use Iris, well, almost integrally in the future for communications and product management, we've already sent emails to these roles to create Iris accounts. So the answer is yes.
Thank you. If I have a first email as a specific email and the alternative email as a generic mailbox, do we have to also modify the alternative email to a specific email rather than a generic email?
I'm not sure we are really recording a second email. So as far as I know, in our database, we only record the main email, and the main email is the one used. And this should be an individual email address. So we don't really look at the second alternative email, just for awareness.
Thank you. Then the next question is about the contact person for an app involved in EMA-led referral. Who will be notified when the referral is initiated and their product is in scope?
This is a very good question. I think I also had a hard time understanding. I understood almost the whole landscape. It really depends on the type of referral and if it's a veterinary or human referral. For example, I know for the human safety referrals, the QPPV, so the qualified person for pharmacovigilance, is set as a contact. But for other referrals, for example, in the veterinary domain, the referral department also asks for contacts from the national competent authorities for the products, for the NAPs. Nevertheless, you will receive an email to inform you about your product involvement. But if you have contacts at the national competent authorities or your QPPVs and so on, that's important to create Iris accounts to minimize the amount of work which needs to be done. For example, in case of a referral, we do not want to delay a procedure because the contacts are not set up and we cannot communicate and collaborate with the industry. So you are aware your colleagues or your users are contacts for products. Please ask them to create Iris accounts.
Thank you. Then we have a question about again, on the email address in EXVMPD. Do you mean the pharmacovigilance and query email?
I'm not sure if there are more than one addresses. So what I've exported from EXVMPD was the qualified person for pharmacovigilance, so the QPPV email address. This is where you actually yesterday received another reminder to create accounts.
Okay. And then, who is notified in the case of inspection, the QPPV or the contact person?
I will leave that for inspections. We're not. So today is only post-authorization procedures. At least in my presentation, post-authorization procedures for the product life cycle. So inspections are not in scope.
This question can be answered in writing if
Also,
we will
also,
put that question to our colleagues from the inspection product. So can you have more than one contact person on a procedure in Iris?
No, currently it's just one contact. You can have managers and contributors, but these additional users won't receive the email. So you could set, for example, auto-forward rules if you want to inform other colleagues, but currently it's only one contact.
So I think you answer to the next questions. As in EF, you have two contacts. You have the possibility to have two contacts, but in the Iris case, there will it be assigned to both, as mentioned in EF or not? But
But I do have actually, because this is a very good question. We are preparing, so well, with Christina, some updates to the EF. Just to let you know that please include the contact in the EF of the product you are submitting for, because we don't really consider the EF contact anymore since there is a registered contact in IRIS for the product. So that would be a mention we will implement in the EFs. And hence, this is not really that relevant in the EF for centrally approved products only. Yeah, we are talking about variations for centrally approved products.
Thank you. And then the next question is about the email address to receive the invoice. Also have to be a personal email.
I would also reply to this offline because it's a fee related. So I don't, I'm not aware of the arrangements there. I don't know if we have someone from the NFR still in the call.
Thank you. In IRIS guidance mentions we can reply to email without changing subject. In which cases we can do that?
Changing the subject or replying. So you can always reply to an email from IRIS. You should not change the subject of the email just to ensure the email reaches the case. And most importantly, you should not change the token. So it's an IRIS and the code. You could, in principle, make some changes to the subject, but do not change the token. Just that if you want to make sure the email reaches there, do not change the email subject, and that's going to be fine.
And then we have a question about the IRIS coordinator role. So can also a person with the IRIS coordinator role be used as contact person? Will this person be shown also in the search list for the managers to choose from?
You should check the guidance, but they do need also a manager role. I do not think that coordinator role covers the manager role. Just ensure you double check that, and if the coordinator doesn't cover the manager role, then a manager role should also be added to their profile.
And the next question is about the timeline on EU PIs for linguistic review on D+5 and D+25 to be submitted via IRIS starting January 2025.
So the day 25 and day 5, yes, they would be submitted just for Emma to have them. However, the linguistic review is going to be carried as today with contacting the relevant NCAs for put on translations.
Then we have a question about the information to update the PHV in query email in the XVM PD with a personal one. In the past, this email address was required to change to a generic one in order that for data protection issues, for security. So I think here we need to maybe, if you have the answer, Madalina, otherwise we can ask our colleagues.
I'm not sure if it's the same as the QPPV or for, but I think PHV inquiry email is really something else. It's it's a public email available, and that I understand that probably not, but maybe let's reply in writing just to make sure we have the information correctly.
Thank you. And then we have a question about some PIPs are missing from our MHL listing in IRIS due to a migration issue. What is the best method to compare and report this discrepancy?
So I would send a ticket to service desk for the pediatric investigation plans so they could sort it for you there, I would say.
Thank you. As download is not that easy, how long are closed cases going to be available in IRIS? Is the archive submission communication available indefinitely? So how long we will keep the closed cases? Yeah.
So we did not reach the data retention policy, so that's I think a few decades. But for now they are indefinitely available. I would need to check what happens in case we are, in 20, 30 years, what would happen. But for the time being, they are available after closure. So you have your documents available. However, as I mentioned, if you have some deadlines and some actions following some following documents receipt, you should actually at least access these documents in order to meet the legal deadlines.
So thank you very much, Madalina, and we are at the end of the presentation on RPM on Iris. And for all the questions we were not able to answer now, we will answer in writing and will be published on our corporate website. Thank you very much, Madalina. So let's move on to EAF. And before to give the floor to Christina, I would like to remind you how to interact with us through Slido. So you can choose either Q&A or the poll. The Q&A, if you want your question and answer to be public, you can upvote your questions, and the most upvoted question will be answered verbally if the time allows. And if not, anyway, there will be a Q&A document available on the event page of this system demo. If you want your feedback, if you want specific suggestion and your priorities and your feedback about your priorities not being public, you can use the poll, and that poll will remain open until the 19th of December. And if you want a direct answer, don't forget to identify yourself. Then don't forget to choose the right room to indicate the product for which you are doing your feedback. And now I think I can give the floor to Christina.
Thank you, Jean-Michel. So I'm Christina Puusari. I'm the product owner for the electronic application form. So the last quarter of the year has been very productive and very busy for the EAF team. So following, of course, the go live of the non-centrally authorized products in PMS, we then concentrated earlier this year on performance improvements, and on the 14th of October we released all non-centrally authorized products in the web-based EAF. We held multiple training sessions and Q&A sessions for non-CAP users. And subsequently, we, of course, invited all non-CAP MAHs and applicants to familiarize themselves with the production system. So to really start creating applications as much as possible. And if any deficiencies, any issues were found, we were asking users to consolidate feedback and send this to EMA via email so that we don't get inundated by service desk tickets. And we're very pleased to note that this advice has been followed very well. Of course, we're still waiting for the feedback via email, but we haven't seen any increase in service desk tickets. We have also been busy to implement updates to reflect the amended variation regulation, which enters into force from 1st of January. So we have already implemented these changes. So of course that might have come as a slight surprise for web-based EAF users, because you can already see the changes in the portal, but we have a deployment freeze period, so we felt that it's important to implement these changes already prior to the regulation entering into force. And as the changes are very minor to centrally authorized products, we felt there's no risk to do this beforehand. We have also working on the implementation of the most important non-CAP features to enable the use from next year. So we have finalized the contact person multi-select function, and we are still working on the proof of payment. So this will come in January 25. And one of our biggest changes up to date in the EAF is indeed an implementation of redesign of present and proposed section. This has been partially delivered. Those who have been using the portal will have seen from Tuesday morning that the section looks completely different. Even the UX design is very different. This was intentional. Unfortunately, there are some features that don't fully work. That wasn't intentional, but we will be finalizing all that functionalities during the closure period, and from January onwards, hopefully all these things will be fixed. So I would now like to do a demonstration from the system to show some of these features that we have implemented. So let me just share my screen. Clicking the wrong button. There, I hope you can see my screen.
Yes, we can, Christina. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. So here you see the PLM portal. Just to start with, we have added this new banner here, and we have just updated news. When we went live with the non-CAPS data in October, we announced that the strongly recommended use for non-centrally authorized products will start from 1st of January. Due to a pending data cleansing exercise that need to be run in PMS, unfortunately, we're not able to yet start the strongly recommended use from beginning of January. We are anticipating that we should be ready by 1st of February. So we have added a note here that the web-based EAF should not be used for submissions to national competent authorities. So please keep on checking the EAF news, which you can find directly from the PLM portal website. But also we will change the banner when we know that the data cleansing exercise has been finalized. And of course, meanwhile, we will also finalize the proof of payment section, which is very important for the non-cap variations. So then if we look at the newly implemented features. So you can now find the non-centrally authorized products from the system. So you have this option in the new search field to either search for 10 or get the results for 10 products or 100 products. We have noted that this is perhaps not sufficient, so we will be updating that. But if I now launch a search for not the products that I've selected, but you can launch a search without any search criteria. Of course, if you already know which products you're looking for, so for example, if you know the country, you can enter the country here and you click search, or you can simply click enter, and you can then see the results. And you can see the performance has been significantly improved. Of course, you can filter further. So if you have a specific for example, MRP number that you'd like to search for, again, you can enter the number here and then click enter, and you can see that the results will come very quickly. Depending on how the products have been authorized, sometimes the search on MA number will not work if the authorization is on a packaged medicinal product level. And sometimes there may be some issues with the full name. So for example, this product for Finland, where I did the search, the product name is actually shown in Swedish. So we are working to solve these issues, but they don't prevent the use of the form. They don't prevent you from finding the product, but we would suggest to use really the different filters to find rather than just launching a search for all products. Of course, the availability products will depend on your user role and your affiliation to a specific company. Then if we have a look at the changes that we have implemented in relation to the updated variation regulation. So here we can see for the products that I had selected, we are now automatically calculating if the procedure is a supergrouping. And as we have type 1A and we have products from
from different marketing authorization holders or from different MRP procedures, we get this calculation. The second thing that what we did, the contact person multi-select. So if we go here, I've already added one contact person here, but we can, if we add another contact person, for example, when we go to this window, instead of filling in these details in the benefit of time, I can just simply show if we have the same contact person for more than one country, you can tick here. And here I would like to emphasize this feature is only relevant for non-centrally authorized products. So for CAPS, you can only have one contact person. And as just presented by Madalena, the contact person for centrally authorized products is now actually less relevant, and you should always update the contact person in Iris instead. But the form in itself will allow you to add a single contact person for centrally authorized products. If you have an EMA-led work sharing, which contains centrally authorized products and non-centrally authorized products, the member state will always be defaulted to European Union. So there will again be just one contact person with the default for European Union. If you then want to add contact persons for non-EMA-led procedures, you can add multiple. And we can then select those. Of course, because I haven't filled in the other fields, we can't submit, but these as many as are as many different countries are included in that particular variation application. Then let's have a look at another change. Unfortunately, that is just behind the screen. So here again, if we stay in the changes related to the variation regulation, we have implemented a new or amended this tick box to reflect that the work sharings are now mandatory. And we've also added the super grouping label here. We have also amended the functionality here. So if you have a work sharing application, in the past you had yes and no tick boxes here to indicate whether other parallel variations are ongoing. We have now replaced those tick boxes, the radio buttons with the tick box. And when you tick this tick box, you're declaring that there are no other variations of the same scope for other products ongoing. When you tick this box, this product grid where you select the products for which parallel variations are ongoing should disappear. So we will be amending that at a later stage. And of course, the section related to the harmonization should also appear here. So that will also be available in January. So then finally, if we look at one of the biggest changes that we did, as I mentioned, so if we go to the proposed changes section, you can see now that the UX design changes quite significantly. So we have a new left-hand banner. So it looks very different. We have moved the precise scope and background for change away from this harmonica. So you can add details here, and the save button is here. There should also be another save button at the end of the page. So this will be implemented later on. So I have already done one combination of scopes and products in here, but if we add more changes, this is something that we are looking to further improve. So when there are non-centrally authorized products included in a variation, of course, all these products are automatically impacted by the variation. So this step is actually unnecessary. So we will be amending this further. But for now, you would indicate, select which products are relevant, click next, you select the variation scope, classification, then you click done. And you will then get to the the scopes. Here, the section title should not be mandatory. And then you get to the present and proposed fields. So here are some aspects that are not working as designed. So these buttons are currently non-functional. We also have a little bug here. If you add a present and proposed organization, after you have added details in the present and proposed fields, you then click save, you will unfortunately lose the text. So please add the organization first, or tick the box to declare that the variation doesn't have changes in manufacturers. Believe we're running out of time now, but this concludes in principle the demonstration of all these new features. If you have any questions, please use the Slido, and I will be answering all those questions straight away. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Christina. Indeed, there are some questions that popped up in the Slido. Yeah, if you can answer them in writing, and the Q&A will be published on the website. Let's move on to the next product, which is let me share. So, which is the Union product database with Beyhan. Before I give him the floor, I'd like to remind you how you can interact with the product team. You have two options: a Q&A where on Slido, where you just post your question. This will be displayed, and hopefully the questions will be answered publicly, verbally by Beyhan. Option 2, if you want to provide feedback to the product team so they can take that into account, specific suggestions, that will be done through a poll. This will not be displayed, and only the product team will have access to it. Select the room of the product. So for now, you will need to select UPD for Beyhan to see your questions. Beyhan, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Emily. Good morning to all the colleagues connected today. I'm Beyhan Mustafov. I'm the EMA product owner for the Union product database, which is only for the veterinary medicines. First, I would like to start with the achievements. We had a busy agenda this quarter as usual, and our two main highlights from this quarter. The first one is the automated replacement that we have introduced into the UPD of substances when a substance becomes a non-current in the SMS. There is no more need for manual replacement with the current substance to be done by the national competent authorities. Probably many of you will remember that when we started with the UPD data quality framework back in April 2023, we had more than 7,500 products which were using non-current substances from SMS. Thanks to the huge efforts that were done by the national competent authorities, member state colleagues have been updating in more than a year those substances and those products basically to use current substances, and now we are down to 38, which is 38 products, I mean. And this is I really want to use this opportunity and thank to the NCA colleagues for this work. When in the future, when this happens, when a substance becomes a non-current in SMS, there will be no more need for NCA's intervention, and marketing authorization holders will not be blocked from submitting VNRAs or making updates to their products due to the fact that the substance became a non-current. The second main achievement is that we have managed to implement into the UPD a way to merge two locations from OMS when there is a technical merge. So basically duplicates which may exist with the same different location IDs, and during the data quality review or updates that are done on OMS, we had many cases where industry users lost visibility or part of their product portfolio due to such technical mergers. So now with this automation, there won't be any more such cases for the UPD users. The UPD UI menus have also been updated. Some of you probably have already noted. And the QPPV email is now mandatory to be provided during the product creation and optional for update operations. We have also removed, maybe some of you have noted that with the release that we had last week, there is no more possibility for the industry users to provide the QPPV email via the UI. And to prevent accidental nullification when an MRP following an SPC harmonization creation process, we have also disabled the nullify button. What we were unable to achieve in this quarter is to finalize the MAH READ API and the general public READ API. Both of those are postponed for 2025. And I will not be able to demo any of the achievements in this system demo because they are automated processes, so it is impossible to be demoed. Now I would like to move now to my next slide, and I would like to use the next few minutes to also provide you with some additional achievements and some very important reminders for the marketing authorization holder users. So we had also two successful webinars as an achievement in this quarter. The first one was for the national competent authorities to provide some basic functionalities also on the create product, and a refresher webinar for the market authorization holders on the volume of sales submissions. And I'll use some of the materials from this webinar also to provide some key messages today. We have created a bite-sized video which is also helpful for the NCAs and marketing authorization holders how to search for notification chapter 2. Maybe you have noticed that it was updated last week, and we have also shared the outcome of the survey which was conducted a few months ago with the users. If I can have a next slide, please. Now let's remind about the process for the volume of sales for which the deadline for the submission of the 2024 volume of sales is 28th of February 2025. So within 2.5 months, the marketing authorization holders will have to meet their legal obligation, and the process is first go to the UPD and download the volume of sales file, prepare it for submission, really use the validation environment which was created for test purposes and also for your benefit to use before you do the actual submission in production. after you submit in the production environment, check the status, see if there are any errors, and then if needed, you can go back and also review the record of the volume of cell submission. I would like to move now next to my next slide, and still on the volume of cells. Again, the deadline is February, and the feedback that we also received from other industry users, which also have a large product portfolio, but also have a lot of experience with the submissions, is plan your submissions throughout the year. The system allows to submit on a monthly basis, on a quarterly basis, half a year, annual. It is up to you, but it takes time. And that's why the message is, please plan as early as possible and as frequent as possible. In case of any errors or doubts, please go to chapter 7, where all the possible errors are listed and their meaning is also explained. Of course, if there are any data quality issues, we know there are data quality issues. You know that when the data quality framework has started, we had more than 90% of data errors of the all veterinary medicine products that exist in the UPD. We are down to 30%. Huge thanks also to the NCA colleagues and also to the marketing authorization holders who regularly go into the UPD and check the quality of their data. And if there are any issues, please feel free to contact the competent authorities. And my last slide is the usual reminder of where you can find useful guidelines, materials, question and answers. Okay, with this, I think that now I can take the questions from Slido.
Well, thank you, Behan. So we have a few questions, and the first expected one is when the marketing authorized holders API is foreseen to be available for use.
Yes, I think that I have addressed this in my presentation, but I'm going to answer again. It is planned for 2025. Next week, we have our quarterly planning meeting where we are going to discuss items which are for development and other additional tasks that we'll have to deal with in the Q1 of 2025. But our aim is still to have the API in 2025.
All right, thank you, that's clear. What is EMA doing to make NCAs aware that accidental data changes in their systems have huge impact on data and MAH work process?
Okay. Emma, as far as we are aware, there are not so many API users from the NCAs. At the moment, we hope that in the future, the number of NCA API users is going to go up, because this is the only way to reduce the manual and work, and also to reduce the administrative burden from manual updates. Now, directly to this question, what EMA is doing when the EMA is made aware of changes that were done from an API users, we are able to liaise directly with those API users, but I can also encourage you as a marketing authorization holders to liaise directly with the API users and ask them to review the data, and if possible to revert data that was maybe accidentally lost or overwritten. We try to act as quickly as possible and immediately, more or less, when we see that the impact may not be only on a particular product or may affect a range of products, sometimes the whole product portfolio. If I'm not mistaken, there was an NCA which accidentally was overwriting the data that was provided related to the QPPV email address. As soon as member state was made aware, I know that they corrected at their end, and I would also like to thank to NCAs for their quick responses.
Thank you, Behan. So what is EMA's plan to resolve technical and data quality issues on the last 5% of UPD products that are blocking NCAs and MAH business processes?
Okay, there are some mandatory fields, as you very well know, which can be updated only by the concerned member states. We have provided the member states, and we have also provided the marketing authorization holders with the mandatory fields which had to be updated by the NCAs, and this was our expectation that these are the blocking fields, and we do our best to provide information on the fields, but we are unable to do any updates or changes on behalf of NCAs because, first of all, we don't have the credentials, and second, we don't have the capacity to do.
I'll take a last question because we are running out of time, but Mihai's question is, considering the fact that the UPD team already gained some experience with the data quality and overall implementation, is there a plan to discuss with the human medicines team for some knowledge sharing?
Yes, of course. And I believe that some similar question has also been posted during the PMS demo, which is also intended for 2025 on the human side. But all our knowledge and experience that was accumulated in the last year and a half is available. We are more than happy to assist colleagues.
Right, thank you. Unfortunately, we won't have time to answer all the questions. Behan and the team will do so in writing. It's the end of that system demo, Q4 2024. The next one is, let me share. The next one. Sorry,
I'm the last one. There is
yeah.
No, yeah. Okay.
The next system demo is on the 26th of March 2025, and with that, I'd like to close. And on behalf of the Portfolio Management Office, on behalf of Portfolio Board Chair, I would like to wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thank you all, and see you in 2025. Thank you for your attendance.